I think we're up. Oh, okay. Hi.
Hey, yeah. Because nobody else is gonna say it.
Hi.
Sexy.
So how long exactly do we have before we die?
Are we sure we're live?
Yeah.
Yep.
It takes a second.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And then it, plays
Oh,
an
that's
ad.
gonna sound horrible on audio.
Okay, cool.
I am sorry, I have a cold.
We're here.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh,
Turn
no.
that off. Go. No, put your phone away.
I am. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Anyways.
Hi. Welcome back to Hadium. We are 32 minutes late. I was running around doing a couple of extra things. It's been a while.
It was legitimately Reese's fault.
Yeah. Welcome back to Hadium Origins, though.
Woo!
It's been a couple of months since we last left our journey off.
It's been more than that.
It's been a very long time.
It's been like 5.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Reese.
July,
It's been like
August,
4
September,
months.
October.
We've missed almost
It's been 4
half a
months.
year.
It's been 4 months.
We missed almost half a year.
Wow.
How do you feel, bitch?
We did isolation though.
Actually, we
So-
missed a third of the year. Third.
Yeah.
A whole
Fuck
third.
math.
I can
Anyway,
do math.
continue.
Oh,
Look at
okay.
you doing math.
Math.
Okay,
can
well, welcome back to anyone
suck a
who's joining
giant
us who was with us
dick.
before. Welcome to anyone who's new. There you go. I can't remember how I do these normally. I'm Reese. I'm your DM. To my right is Dylan and then Jason.
Brown.
What?
Brown.
Okay.
Distinguishing marks of brown.
To the left of me is Danny.
Hello.
Don't know what that was about.
I don't know.
And currently joining us over Skype are Jasper and Bowie.
Hello. Hi.
There we go. Let's just get right into it. Danny, why don't you start us off with announcements?
Okay. It's been a while. Do I go through the whole thing?
Your mom.
Yeah.
Day.
What? The whole thing? No, I'm not gonna through. We're 33 minutes late. ETNL, you should check them out. There's a bunch of
Look at them, not at me.
I'm going towards the microphone. Oh, they can't see me. Okay. Anyways, ETNL journalist site. We're a part of the small gamer community in there. You can follow them on social media: Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and their ETNL site www.etnl.co.uk. Then a slash for some reason. And art pages and stuffy stuff.
Stuffy stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's what I said.
Stuffy
Twitch,
stuff.
at Hey Dungeon Master. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter is at Hey DM Official. Snapchat is at Hey Dungeon Master, but in Master there's no E, so it's just TR at the end. And Tumblr is Hey DM Official.
You have a Tumblr?
Yes. Have I posted anything on it?
No.
No. If you'd like to donate to us, we also have a PayPal, paypal.me/Hey Dungeon Master. If that's a backward slash, sorry. I can't usually tell the difference. Anyways,
Okay.
It's a slash.
yeah, it's a slash, yeah. If you have any announcements, questions, inquiries, you can contact us at heydungeonmaster@gmail.com.
Whoops, I hit the mic.
Don't hit the mic. It's a nice mic.
I had something else. Oh. Recently called Bella. We said last time they were Milo. Right now,
Milo.
they're Milo. Bowie. They're Bowie right now. Kizza is played by Bowie.
Or just
So
call him
cool.
Kizza.
That's true.
Yeah. Speaking of, are we good or?
We may be starting. Okay. Well, we started late today, but we're almost definitely gonna be starting late next
We will
Sunday.
be starting late next Sunday
Um,
for Remembrance Day.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
so we can have that moment of
So.
silence. If you guys are not Canadian, that's what Canadians do. We
I
just
think
sit in
that's-
silence.
We're
They
quiet.
they also observe Remembrance Day in a lot of the European countries.
So
Hey, if
There you
you're
go. If
European,
we've got anyone from
yeah.
if we've got anyone from Europe, isn't
Send
it
us
late there?
Send us those
Isn't
European
it like really
accents.
late there? Go to bed. Don't stay up.
7 p.m.
All right. Anything else?
It was Jason's birthday the other day. Woo.
Happy birthday.
I was trying to cue a straight face, then you went.
Yeah. I think that's it.
That's it? Okay. Yeah, so that's our announcements done.
Yeah.
Let's go quick through because it's been so long. Dylan plays Shin, our drow rogue. Jason over here
You were gonna
plays...
say Baz.
I was about to say it.
Baz plays Baz?
Baz plays Jason.
That's terrifying.
Jason...
Yes, hello. I'm gonna use my inhaler now.
Speaking of which,
I don't know how I get through these normally.
Alright, roll the hit.
Jason plays Baz, our dwarven bard. To our left we have Danny, who plays Charlotte, our sorceress.
Yeah.
Are you pausing for
Did I-
suspense? You did not mention either of the people on the
Except for
computer,
Kizza.
except for Kizza.
I
Yes.
thought I said something wrong.
No.
I can't remember. Okay.
You said Charlotte is a sorceress. Well, sorcerer. Whatever.
Sorceress. That's a female term, sorcerer, right?
Yeah, they're gender neutral. I have you know.
Wow.
They're not
Okay.
binary.
Sorcerer. Sorry.
Whatever.
They're all secretly gay.
Yeah.
Jasper plays Tabik, our fire genocide cleric.
Maybe.
Did it take you
You're
5
right.
seconds to remember there?
I almost said our fire genocide rogue. And I was like, no, that's not right.
Oh, I thought you were just
It's been
questioning the
too
fact
long.
over whether or not they were a cleric. I'm like, yeah.
No.
And then of course we have Bowie playing Kizza, our green dragonborn barbarian. Muscles and mayhem.
The only muscles in this group.
Yeah, I'm 90%.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
there's
wait,
Tabik.
no, there's Tabik.
Oh,
I forgot.
Tabik's pretty built under that armor.
That's true, but he has a lot of armor, so he just looks fluffy.
My new stats.
I don't think that's how armor works.
He looks
I
poofy.
think it's the opposite. He's all angular.
Oh shit! We should say that we remade Baz. So if like something's wrong,
Oh yes. We've gone through and remade Baz's character
because I
sheet
fucked up.
because it was not made correctly, and I did not catch that until recently. So if any of you are actual hardcore
Wait.
fans and like pay attention to that stuff, I'm sorry.
It's been almost a whole
Jason.
year, and it's been wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
Church.
He rolled a d20 for his 946.
Shit.
He had very low stats.
Oh!
He had
I
very-
do remember you doing that. Yeah, that was fun.
Okay. Anyways, let's get into actual gameplay. Let's stop putting this off.
I'm so terrified.
It wasn't. The
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When last we left off, our
I can't
heroes, Stellas Mortalis, had arrived in Ocean Hall. The humans... Is that a small sticker that says sex?
Yeah. It was on my dick. Sorry.
Do we have Kleenex?
Yeah.
There.
I'm gonna like
Don't blow it on the screen.
leave for 5 seconds.
Go to the bathroom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um,
And we'll continue.
I'm sorry I was disrupted there. We left off, our heroes had just arrived in the
Give this to Dylan.
human fortress of Ocean Hall, a large market trading city along the edge of the Dragon's Neck Bay. You guys have been traveling northwards towards a meeting place.
The tower.
The tower, yeah. You've been traveling towards the tower, as it's called, on a missive from a mysterious woman who has sent Baz a letter. When last we left off, you guys had just met up with the Griffin Guard. You had delivered the news that their son was dead.
Rip.
The whole guard's son?
Adopted.
They all adopt
They
him.
raised him.
That's just for stuff. Like if you're sick, there's cough drops in there.
I want one.
No, stop. You're not sick.
Are you sure?
No,
I'm
not
dying.
that. You're not
Oh.
that sick. I meant that kind of sick.
I hate raising children.
Sorry.
You guys had delivered the news that the son of the head of the guard was dead. And they had offered to put you up in the Red Anchor Tavern for the night before having a meeting luncheon with the High Lady of Ocean Hall, a woman by the name of Lady Alarena Reminal. the half-sister of the current king of Somerset. You guys had split yourselves off into 2 groups and, putting yourselves to bed, had prepared for the night, only to be awoken by loud ringing of a bell, cries of terror throughout the city, and the sight of a large fire brimming up along the edge of the harbor wall and currently engulfing what looks to be a large building. I do believe Kiza and Shin was rooming together. You had Charlotte with you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys currently stand at the window of this small, kind of closed-in room. It's a little bit musty, It's built for smaller people than you guys. You especially, Kiza, find it a little bit too short. Not uncomfortably so, but not great. You are currently gazing out over the tops of the many, many roofs that kind of coalesce together to form almost like a strange, lumpy Tetris board of different houses and such. Long blue wall.
That's okay, take your time.
English. Large blue roofs coalescing together to form kind of this weaving pattern, very similar to the waves you can see out in the harbor, just past the lights that light up the far harbor walls. And just in front of those harbor walls is the top of a large towering building that is currently ablaze. What's going on?
I want to go see what's up.
Okay.
Is Charlotte awake?
You can check if you want to.
I thought Charlotte doesn't sleep.
Well, she's been
when
asleep
you guys
this whole
left
time.
off, she was unconscious.
Oh, yeah.
I walk over to Charlotte and kind of shake her a little.
Don't shake the baby!
No, just like a gentle,
Yeah.
checking to see if she's awake.
She, moves, she, rocks as you do it and stuff, and, continues to be slumped over. But for a moment, when you first initially make contact, there's a bit of, a sizzling heat in your fingertips, and then it lets out.
Okay.
Are you a night sweater? Do you sweat when you sleep?
She's unconscious, not asleep, and it's not sweat. It's burning. It's like you've put your hand on an
Are
iron
you
for a
sick?
second.
I was gonna say, do I have a fever?
Actually, they're in the other room, right? Everyone else is?
Tabik and Baz are. You and Kiza and Charlotte are in the same room.
I'm going to go over to the other room and see if they're awake.
Baz is currently knocked out.
Tabik?
Yeah, it's work. Sketching.
They don't have a window in their room?
They have a window, but it faces the opposite direction. It's heading towards... your guys' window heads over High Market and towards the harbor. Theirs heads more towards where you guys had entered in and West Grove.
Is it very pretty?
It is very, very nice, yeah. You guys, out your window...
So for the fire!
This is fun. We can
Sorry.
stop to admire the scenery, Baz.
Out your guys' window, it's very much more... a little bit more cramped together. You can see what looks to be a large marketplace. It is called High Market, and there are quite a few different markets and shops and such that you can see. Large tents are thrown around every once in a while, rising out from between these almost identical blue roofs and white buildings. But out their window, they have a view into what is called High Grove, I believe. West Grove, which is the temple zone, the religious sector. So it's a lot more sprawling buildings with large gardens and such. So it is quite a pretty sight.
Is the door to their room locked?
No.
Okay, so I just walk into their room.
Tabik, you see Shin. He appears, just kind of flings the door open, walks in.
I look around, and seeing that Baz is asleep, I address Tabik. Tabik, there seems to be a fire out in the city. Kiza's already raced off.
Is Charlotte awake yet?
I tried to see if she would shake awake, but she's still unconscious.
Might be best to leave her here for now. Do you want to wake up the dwarf, or should I?
You can wake up the dwarf.
Okay, pick up Baz.
You're dead?
Yeah.
What?
What?
Charlotte's just flat out dead.
Yeah.
Like, she just fucking died.
You're just carrying a corpse around, guys.
Danny's actually playing a new character today. She
Yeah.
rolled up. Y'all
No,
be
So
meeting
I'll
her.
be playing
Check
Juniper.
Charlotte's still alive.
No, Charlotte is
Check that.
alive. She's just unconscious right now.
I didn't hear what they said because Danny was going,
Apparently you got picked up.
Pick
okay.
up the dwarf. Does the
I'm
dwarf
still
awake
sleeping.
when he is picked up?
Yeah. No, he is. Roll me a constitution check.
Me? Me.
Yeah.
Okay. 8, 17.
17? Okay, now roll me a perception check. Or, sorry, what's your passive perception? It's up at the top.
15, isn't it? 14.
Where is it? 14.
14. Okay, yeah, no. You sleep through it.
Is there any water buckets in the
Dwarves
room?
are heavy sleepers. There's a small, like, wash basin, like a small tub almost, off in the corner with a small pitcher of water, but there's no, like, proper bucket.
Can I pick it up and pour it on Baz?
Yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah, you just kind of, you grab this pitcher and just, like position it. It takes a minute before you and Tabik find a way that you can, like, Tabik can hold him up without spilling water on both of you, and then you just slowly begin to pour it.
You know that vine where that girl gets water on her face and she's like, hello? That's what Baz does. She's like, hello?
Hello, Baz. There's a building burning down. I mean, if you want to sleep through it, you can go right on ahead, but I think, it might be nice to go out and help the people of the city.
And you woke me up, why?
Because you're coming with us.
Because you're coming with us.
Okay. Holy fuck, I was flying!
Yeah, so... Okay.
I haven't
You-
been put down yet.
Are you putting
Imagine
him
being woken up and you're like 20 feet off the ground.
20 feet? He's not
He's
He's
a
not a
bat.
giant.
He's a dwarf. Everything is 20 feet.
No, it's really not.
It really
You
is.
up quite often. I'm sure you're used to it.
You know, at this point, you've been lifted more than Charlotte has, okay? And she's the child.
That's true, but he's shorter than Charlotte.
Okay, understandable.
Probably heavier, though.
Put me down. Thanks, I'm assuming you put me down. We're
Yeah,
gonna go check on
you
Charlotte.
just placed down on the
Just
ground.
like wobble over to Charlotte.
You
Sure.
guys, there's a literal fire. Why are you
Yeah,
not
it's
going
fine.
to save people?
I just kind of like, you see that one video? It's like, Lieutenant, wake up! That's what I did to Charlotte.
Okay.
She's unconscious.
I like do it with both hands.
You like hit her slightly, and there's a small flash of light, and just like you've slapped the bottom of a burning iron. You just pull your hand back.
Shin,
It's bright red.
Shin pulls out one of the papers, and he writes a quick note in common, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I don't know if she can read it.
She can read comic.
Okay.
Are you dumb? Are you sure? I rolled for it.
Can you read?
She can't read!
She can't read. No,
No, not common.
not common. She can't
I'm also
read common.
I'm really horrible at writing it.
Oh, jeez.
She can speak it decently,
Yeah.
but everything else is
Wait,
useless.
there's an error on my character sheet. I speak another language. What does the language of miracles speak?
I think Infernal?
Okay.
Or wait,
If he's a god, it would be celestial, wouldn't it?
But I'm guessing, okay,
it's
if she
celestial, I believe, possibly.
if she doesn't speak common, I'm guessing I'd have noticed that by now.
No, I
She
speak
speaks common. She
Or,
can't
like,
read
she-
and write.
Can't read and write. I'm pretty sure we have noticed that by now.
Yeah, you have.
Hi, my name's
So we-
Charlotte. I'm 19, and
I
I
never
never learned
fucking-
how to read.
Well, okay, if Baz is in the room with Charlotte, I'm gonna go follow Kiza.
Okay.
No. Sad.
You can't read!
Yeah, it's celestial. He speaks celestial.
I mean, it's still the thought that counts.
Okay, so you're just leaving?
Yeah, I'm gonna go follow Kiza.
Okay. So you make it out the door then. Are you going with Baz?
Wait.
Tabik, are you going?
Yep.
Okay, so Tabik and Shin, you're out the door. Kiza's already, like, you can see her, like, disappearing down the street. There's not too many people out, but the people that are out are kind of, like, looking around a little freaked out. They're not sure
I'm
what's
gonna
going on.
cast Unseen Servant and tell Sonica just to stay there and then come get me if Charlotte wakes up.
Okay, yeah, no, there's a slight like you play like a little ditty on your tune and stuff, and there's a slight shimmer next to you in the air, and then it's like gone, and you feel there's a small voice that goes, "Okay,
I missed you.
I will stay."
And then I leave.
Okay.
And
Yep.
waddle over.
And you're following after them?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you guys begin to make your way down the spine, which is the road.
This one?
Yeah, that is the spine.
Where's the place though?
Where are we
where's
heading?
where?
You guys are heading towards the harbor gate right there. So you're going to go up Harbor Road, and that's the place you will get. You guys are about at the midway section there.
They're like, oh, asthma.
you all pause for a
Asthma.
second to catch your breath.
You pull
It's a lot longer. The road's a lot longer than you thought it would be. No.
Well, considering my athletics, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a problem.
No. Okay. You guys make it about to there, and we're going to quickly jump. We see a small, dimly lit tavern room.
Charlotte pees herself.
Whoa!
There
That's
is-
a bit sudden.
There is no light other than a small flickering on the walls cast out from the fire that burns just beyond the window. In a bed, one of the 3 beds inside, we see a small girl dressed in what looks to be some strange tunic, some strange dress of shimmering white material. She looks unconscious. We can see the small, slight outline of an invisible servant, kind of amorphous, not quite detailed figure. And then we see, for a second, that the room is still. And there is a shimmer, kind of like a wavy pattern in the wall of shadows in the corner of the room. And from out of the shadows steps a small man, a young boy. He looks to be somewhat of elvish descent, perhaps a half-elf of some sort, but there's something about him that's not quite right. He's got a large backpack over one shoulder and a couple of clothes held under the other one, and he's dressed quite finely in these kind of dark robes. Across his face, he has a small mask, a half mask, that covers...
Oh, your dog's here!
that covers the top half of his face and is styled to look what you would guess would be an owl, almost. It's not quite definable, but it looks similar to that. It is done in quite a dark bronze color. And he kind of steps out of the shadows, like kind of stumbles, like he's not quite used to doing so. And he casts a glance again around the room, spots the girl and goes, nods his head, walks over, puts the backpack and the clothes over on the thing, and then he reaches into a pocket, kind of like ruffling around, trying to find something in his robes. Takes a second because he can't find it, and then he goes, turns around, walks back through the shadows, and pops out a second later with a piece of paper in his hand. And he unfolds the piece of paper, and he takes a minute, and he keeps looking between the girl and the paper and stuff, and then he reaches back into his folds, and he pulls out a small feather, and he begins to hit her in the face with the feather. And then he glances down at it, and he, like, looks at the thing, and he's like, puts the feather down, turns the paper upside down, and continues to read, takes the feather again, and places it on her forehead this time, instead of hitting her in the face with it. And you see him fold the paper and put it away, and he raises his hands above her head, and he begins to speak in this kind of low guttural language that we're not quite sure what it means, and a slow kind of glow begins to traverse from his hands down into her face, and slowly coalesce along her body, and with a sharp gasp, we see Charlotte open her eyes, as she is shocked back into the world, and she sits up, and Charlotte... The room is empty, but there is a small feather, a small black feather from what looks to be an owl that floats down from where it has been positioned on your face and lands in your lap. You glance to the right to see your bags and your clothes and everything have been placed gently on the bed next to you, and to your left there is a small flicker on the wall as a city burns behind you. We see Sonica, the unseen servant. We can't quite make out the details, but if we could, their face would go, I had this bewildered stare as Sonica watches as Charlotte shoots out of bed just in time for the small half-elf man to dart back into the shadows and disappear again.
Do I see said shadows?
No.
No? Okay.
You guys, we are back with you now, as the group of you have finally caught up to Kiza, and you screech around the corner and begin making your way down, pushing through throngs of people that have started to stream out of the houses and shops and buildings around here to gaze in terror at what looks to be a very large, almost cathedral-like building as it burns from the top down. You begin to push your way through, and you're making it farther and farther and farther, and soon enough, you make it close enough that you can see what looks to be a rim of people, an outlined circle of people that have been gathered, kind of being held back by a bunch of guards that have got their hands out trying to keep the masses back. And it is very late at night now, just going on about 11 o'clock. Behind these guards, you can see a wagon, which is inscribed with the same crest of the Griffin Guard that you guys had seen earlier. And there are currently 2 very heavily armed guards who are one arm each around what looks to be a small, older human man in these kind of large brown robes. And he's kind of thrashing and trying to throw himself out of their grip. You can see that his hands have been bound loosely with some sort of chain. And the guards are starting to drag him towards the back of this wagon as a couple more guards closer along to the building are tossing lanterns of lit fire on top of this building. You see a heavily armored man. You have not seen him before, but he wears the same insignia of the Griffin's Guard that you have seen on all of these guards. The very large, ornate, very ornate helmet of a griffin that is common towards them. His holds what look to be 2 sapphires where the eyes should be. And he's speaking out to the crowd and addressing them, and he's just kind of telling them, "We are here on official business. Step back, leave us be, go back to your homes. This man is under arrest. Do not worry yourselves." And you guys finally push your way through to the front of the thing. You're held back by a single guard, he's kind of like, don't do it, stay back, right? And he's kind of, he shuffles off to take care of a couple more who have tried to break through to get a better look. And you see this man that is wildly thrashing, this old man. He's got to be late 70s, maybe? Thrashing, he casts a glance and he catches and locks eyes with you guys. And you hear in your voice
In your voice?
You hear in your head, and it echoes through all 4 of your heads, you hear a small, old, frail voice that goes, Please, you've gotta save him. Save the Afriti. And just as soon as it begins, the voice seems to trail off like it's going to say something else, as a bag is shoved over the head of the man, and he is tossed inside the wagon.
Okay. Wait, can you repeat what he said? I can't. What did he say?
So the man said, "Please, you have to save the Afriti."
And none of us recognize that, I'm guessing?
You can try.
I am typing.
You can roll an intelligence check to see if you know the name.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
That's gonna go well.
Jason.
Sorry, my mom's...
No.
Oh, you like it?
No. That's an 11.
I'm gonna pretend like I know what...
Okay, what check? Investigation? Or
Is it just intelligence?
Is it intelligence or...
Just a straight intelligence roll.
17.
Baz, you know nothing.
I got an 11.
11.
I got a 15.
Oh, you're not there.
Okay,
I was like, I always get ready to point at you for stuff. Sorry, Tabik, say that again.
17.
17, and Kiza?
15.
Okay. So a majority of you haven't heard of this. Kiza, you've heard the word, but you don't quite recognize it. Like you've heard it being said before, but you don't properly recognize it. Tabik, you, however, do recognize it somewhat. During your time investigating quite a lot of your history and the history of fire genocide, you looked into jinns for a moment, as they are a parentage generally associated with them. An Ifriti is a type of jinn, a type of a genie of sorts. But they are very, very rare, and you don't remember hearing about any in Somerset or along, even in the entire continent here. They tend to be more common in Nazar, just because of the heavy magic that surrounds the place, but you would not have thought one to be in Somerset.
Okay, I'll tell you guys what I know.
Okay.
Should we go help?
I was gonna see if I could find a way through, but I just rolled a 3.
It's quite thick with there's a lot of guards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Could I use brute force to get through, or are these guards
You're gonna
stronger
get
than me?
arrested.
You're gonna get arrested.
You could try if you want to. You can.
Okay, let's not get
Wait,
arrested.
Do we
again.
know who the guy?
Ah!
That was loud. The guy, the big man.
Mhm.
Is he the same guy from the front?
No, he is not. That would be Sir Morgul. Sir Morgul. I can't remember how to pronounce his name. He is the advisor of the Lady of Oceanhall, and while he does technically run them, he's not quite in charge. He's not like the head guard. You would assume this would possibly be someone of that status, but you're not quite. You're not familiar with the rules. Yep.
How many guards are, like, close to us blocking us off?
There is 2 or 3 kind of on the side of the crowd that you guys are on. There's 2 either side of you, quite a little ways away, and the one that had been previously just in front of you has kind of darted off to go and stop one of the other peasants and such onlookers that have just kind of tried to get past and break through the circle to see more. So currently you guys don't have anyone standing in front of you, but there are a couple of guards scattered around.
Is there any buildings around?
Yeah, no. The large building that is currently on fire is, there's a little bit of space between them and a lot of the other buildings, kind of a loose gardens almost, but there are quite a few buildings around it.
If, let's say, I could sneak through the guards, there's somewhere I could hide on the other side?
Yeah. There's a small wall.
We should just go back. I don't think this is for us.
Okay, what would I roll to try to help?
I was whispering to Shin, but you know what? This is a whole good conversation now. I don't think we should do anything.
I had an idea, and I was asking how many guards there were for an idea.
Ask
What's
Jesus
your
how many
idea?
guards there are.
Okay, so the closest guards to us, I think 3 of them is what I can do.
There's 3 of them holding back the crowd right now. There's a couple more that are just kind of tossing lanterns into the building currently. And then there is the larger guard over on the other side of the square with the wagon. It looks like they're currently preparing the wagon to leave.
Shit. Should I go for the guys, the wagon, or the one close to us?
I rolled a 28 for stealth.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and
Okay,
sneak.
so Shin disappeared.
I'm gonna try and sneak past the guards and kind of see if I can find a way into the building.
Into the building? Okay. So, Shin, you kind of let yourself disappear into the crowd, kind of phasing backwards, and you begin to move your way through, kind of just slipping in, slipping out. You make your way towards where the edge of the actual buildings start, and slipping around the side of which into kind of a darker hallway, you begin to make your way around. Can you make me a perception check, please? Investigation, actually.
Investigation? Shit. Where's my investigation? That's a 6.
6? Yeah. The walls around, there's a small, like, the main building rises up, currently on fire, and you make sure to kind of keep away from that.
Mhm.
Then there's a smaller section of like a low wall
Mhm.
that you can see, and then it rises up tall again in the back. But the wall is a little bit too high; you can't see over. There don't seem to be any windows, except for on the top floor of the back.
What would I roll to
Could I
try
try?
to sneak over?
To try to what?
I want to try to sneak like, go to the building. I want to go to the building.
Okay, are you just going to kind of push your way through, or are you sneaking around the side like Shin?
No, I want to be sneaky.
Sneaky? Okay, so you're gonna roll me a stealth roll.
Okay. I'm trying to make a distraction.
There are windows though. On
There
the
are
top
windows on the top floor at the back, but they are quite high up.
I got a
Good.
19.
19. Okay, Kiza, you begin to... You're a little bit harder to blend in and stuff, but with all the chaos and everything, you manage to shuffle your way through quite easily and disappear into the shadows as well. You can see Shin a little bit farther ahead of you. He blends in very, very well, but you've known him now for quite a while, so you can see him just kind of meandering back and forth along the wall looking for a way in.
Like a cat.
I want to go help him. Or try.
Okay. So you kind
Okay,
of walk
while
over.
they're doing that, Reese, there's like one main guard in charge here, right?
Yes, so there is the larger
Is he
guard.
wearing like metal armor?
Yes, he is wearing very
Oh,
heavy
no.
armor. Large kind of ornate plate armor.
Heat metal hammer.
Okay.
Distraction, and then
Did
I'm
I?
gonna try to sneak around with the
What did
others.
you give me for?
Did he find a spell?
What did you give me for paladin?
Okay.
Did you give me
Maybe that's curse
divine
or something?
sense? You gave me divine sense, right? I only have a limited use.
Yeah, I think so.
Would a divine sense be able to find what I'm the whatchamacallit?
The Freddy?
Yeah.
I don't believe they're classified as
It's celestial
as
fiend
celestial.
or undead.
No, they
No?
are. I believe they are elemental. Oh,
Okay.
I've
Okay.
dropped the book
Here, hold on. I'll
just
find
when
it.
you opened it.
Yeah. Ooh,
Sorry.
250.
Okay, so Kiza's up beside me though.
Kiza is standing next to you. Yeah. So if you would like to look again, you can. Sorry, Penny, can you find it again?
250.
I can.
250. Just open it for me. You can make one with advantage
Okay.
per investigation.
Oh, that's much better. That's a 20.
Okay. You once again, it's still kind of this larger area,
Mhm.
but you can see slightly. You manage to. Kiza kind of finds a barrel for you to stand on almost. Not quite, but like to lift up a little bit. And you can see slightly now there seems to be. There's no roof over the top of this kind of middle section. It seems to dip down into what you'd expect would be some sort of courtyard of some sort.
Okay.
You can't quite see over the wall, but you can see that it is more of a fence than a proper wall.
Would I be able to get up on top of it?
You could try. It's about 15 feet tall. So it's
Would that
quite
be
a
athletics,
tall wall.
I'm guessing?
That would be athletics if you're climbing.
Okay.
Can I try to climb it from where I am, or is that a horrible idea? I don't know.
You guys are standing in this kind of like alleyway between it, so you guys are next to the wall. You could try to climb it if you'd like to.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Why not?
That was a 15
Okay,
to try and climb the wall.
so 15 for you to do that. Where's my pen? Where's my pen?
Do I have to reroll stealth to stay stealthed?
We will see.
You're just gonna get it 35. It's fine.
15. Yes. We're going to quickly go to Tabik.
The only way for me to get a 30 is
So
if I
Tabik, you
roll a
take
20.
the hammer from your belt, and you just kind of like, are you doing this stealthily, or are you just doing it?
Stealth. I don't want to get caught. I just want to make a distraction. So
All
we
right,
can
roll
sneak
me a
around.
stealth roll.
Don't you have disadvantage?
I think so.
He's in heavy armor, so yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, did you take your heavy armor off? Are you wearing it or not?
Oh shit! Yeah, I might be because we were heading to bed.
So Tabik just might be in street clothes.
Might be just
Yeah, I don't think he has it on.
Okay, so you won't do the stealth check at disadvantage, but do make a note of that for your AC.
Yeah, I need to calculate that. So I rolled 17, so it's 18.
18? Okay, yeah. You slip the hammer from your belt. Luckily, you had your stuff on you still. You had taken off your armor and such, but you had kept your weapons close. And just kind of under your breath, you almost like shift yourself so you're slightly behind Baz. You take the hammer and with a slight flick of the wrist and a low mutter of the correct words, you watch as a slow, bright, kind of reddish light begins to emanate from the armor. It begins to glow, and I need you to give me 2d8, please. Roman damage.
Fucking dead.
I doubt it.
12.
12 damage. Okay. You see the metal heat very, very quickly, and the heavily ornate guard, you think it might be a knight of some sort? Possibly? He begins to kind of, like, take a notice and stuff, and he's fumbling at it, kind of gasping for breath as he tries to rip the burning metal from his skin, and he's crying out quite loudly. You see a majority of the guards turn to look and start to race over to him. The crowd starts to surge forward quite a little bit. They're not quite willing to go within reach of the building, but they start to press closer.
Okay, I'm gonna go around and try to join up with the others now and tell Baz to come with me.
What? Why?
Take my
Okay.
hand.
I just wanted to stay here.
You're helping.
Ah!
Okay, so you guys head along to where Shin and them are beginning to climb the wall.
Do I have to
Charlotte.
make a stealth?
No, you can make a stealth, but at advantage.
I just thought about it. I could have asked Kissa to help me. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I could have just lifted you up the wall, probably.
I mean,
Or gotten you at least
yeah,
pretty close.
I don't think we can retcon that, though.
13.
13, yeah. So you and Tabik slip past the crowd as they begin to surge forward and slip into the alleyway with the others. Charlotte, you are back in the room. I'm assuming you've dressed yourself again?
I'm in a toga thing, right?
Yeah.
That's fine for now. There's a burning building.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay,
your
cool.
your backpack and your clothing and stuff is laying on the bed. I'm assuming you've grabbed nothing? No?
No, I don't.
Booking it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, yeah. You're not sure where you are,
Yeah, no.
so I need you to make me a wisdom check, please.
Okay. Let's see. Oh no. Where's my front page?
We'll make it insight.
Are you kidding me?
Or sorry, perception. Make perception.
Choose wisely. Is it insight or is it perception?
Perception.
18.
18. Okay. You managed to follow kind of the ruckus of the people. They all seem to be streaming towards the same direction if they're moving. You begin to make your way down the spine and up Harbor's Road. You are about halfway to the large building when you start to hear even more yelling and such from above, and the crowd around you starts to surge inwards towards the center. You manage to pull yourself away to the corner of a building, and I'd like you to make a perception check for me again.
Okay.
Or sorry, no, what's your passive perception?
Passive perception?
You would not actively be looking.
15. But
15?
with the roll, it's higher.
With the roll, it's higher.
Well, I mean, the roll is higher, so.
Okay. 15. What were the stealth checks?
I was a 14.
14. So you see Baz.
you see, you don't see anyone else. You just see
you
Baz.
see, you see, you see as Baz darts around the corner. He kind of casts a glance over his shoulder. Baz, you catch sight of Charlotte for a moment before you're continuing along the alleyway.
Would I be able to try and find a different way in?
If you want to, yeah.
Sure.
Tabik, I just saw Charlotte.
Because, like, I'm probably not going to be able to scale a wall. Like, is there any other way to get in?
There's the front door.
Okay.
Currently, which is slightly open, but you can see they have tossed a couple of lanterns in the inside. The foyer looks to be on fire.
Is there any water around?
There's the harbor, but that's over a wall.
That is over a wall. Is there windows at the first floor?
No windows on the fourth floor.
On the fourth floor?
The first floor.
How stable does the building look?
Make me an insight check.
25?
25?
Yeah.
You can see it seems to be, it's not quite, like, wibbly wobbly. It's not going to fall over at any moment. But you do see that parts of it are starting to, the occasional timber will fall from the place burning and such. It doesn't look too safe, but it's not going to collapse.
I feel like I'm going to regret this. Can I just go through the front door?
Okay, yeah. Are you going to be sneaky about it, or you just
I'm just going to book it.
Okay, can you make...
I don't know who these people are.
You can make me an athletics check. If you're just gonna dash.
Athletics?
Or, wait, what's your movement speed?
30.
30? Okay, I'll count that as a surprise. You technically have surprise because you just kind of come out. Yeah.
Okay.
So you managed to break through, between the legs of two of the regular citizens and stuff, and you catch a glimpse of a wagon and a large man. There are currently a couple of guards trying to pull the armor off him, but they keep glancing back as their hands come away burnt. And you just book it across. You take off, and you see a couple of the guards who have been like paying attention to trying to grip this. They kind of see you and they start yelling over their shoulder at some of the other guards who are farther on the side of the court, trying to keep the rest of these people back. But by the time any of them turn around, you've disappeared into the building itself. And the door slams shut behind you with a loud crash as you just kind of pull it to block the guards from coming. Cool, so you're there. You guys?
I was trying to climb the wall.
I just told you I just saw Charlotte.
You got a 15.
15.
Kiza, were you trying to climb the wall as well?
Yeah, I got a 15 as well.
15 as well. Awesome. Okay. So you two kind of like at the same time, you count down 1, 2, 3, and then you just run at the wall and up, and you manage to catch the lip of the wall and pull yourself up. You're about halfway over. You kind of got one leg thrown over when Tabik and Baz come hurrying down the thing, from the actual crowd, and you can start to hear a bit of yelling.
I can see over the wall now, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
I'm going to just look around. I'm checking for any guards and a way inside.
Okay, yeah. Make me a perception check, please.
Can I also check for that?
Sure. Make me a perception check for you.
19.
19. And...
21.
21, yeah. So below you spread out is a large... Sorry, let me just move this up here. Below you, you can see what looks to be a large courtyard. There are a manner of different statues of ranging monsters and what look to be knights in shining armor and such, scattered around the garden itself. It's quite a large space. It's about 35 feet across and wide. It is quite large. You can see 3 separate sections to the building. The back wall is quite flat, but you can see across from you, in the center of the middle part, is a large set of 2 wooden doors, and to your right, kind of in the corner, is a smaller wooden door.
Well, I hug myself over the wall and go to the doors,
Is there any guards in the courtyard?
Make me an acrobatics check, Kiza.
Is there any guards in the courtyard or no?
No, it seems to be empty. You can see there's a couple of timbers that have fallen from the top floor or the roof or whatever. They've started to make a small pile and stuff, and there's doesn't seem to be any disruption. It seems quite quiet almost, considering the chaos around it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and jump down into the courtyard.
Okay, make me an acrobatics check.
I got an 18, by the way.
18? Okay, so you managed.
21.
Yeah. So you both kind of land. You've got
21.
kind of a nice bounce to your step. Shin, you just tuck and roll. Pop up right into standing as Kizza pulls herself from the ground slightly. You don't take any damage and such. It is quite a heavy drop, though.
Yeah.
So. You guys now stand in the center of, along the wall of this large statue courtyard.
So you said there's 2 double doors and then there's a smaller door?
Yeah. So it's a large square space with a manner of hedges and such, kind of a hedge walk of statues and such, and the various carvings of monsters and creatures. You can see what looks to be a unicorn on the far side, and a couple of large knights, their swords all held together, such like that. They're all about 15 feet tall. They're quite large.
Okay.
Other than that, there is a double door straight across from you guys on the opposite wall, and then in the far right corner there's a small wooden door into the cellar.
Can I check the double doors, see if they budge?
Okay. First off, we're gonna go to Baz and Tabik. You guys hurry along the alleyway just in time to see Kizza and Shin whoop, onto the other side of the wall.
I'm guessing it's all good considering they went over, so pick up the dwarf and toss the dwarf over the wall.
Are you asking consent?
This is a good usage of dwarf tossing. Congratulations, everyone. We've succeeded.
Are you
That's
Dungeons
being
and Dragons.
annoying, and he can't get over that wall by
Are you
himself.
gonna at least yell at Kizza and say, hey, catch the dwarf?
Yeah, I'll sit. Yeah.
Tabik, I'd like you to make me an athletics roll.
Do I have to make an athletics roll?
You are going to do something for me in a second here. Tabik, you're making that athletics roll at disadvantage because you are hurling a full dwarf.
Disadvantage? Come on.
However, I will give you inspiration on the roll because I love dwarf tossing. It's about time.
Okay, what
I don't
die
think
do I
Baz
roll?
loves dwarf tossing.
So you have advantage, so it'll cancel out if you want to use it on this, or you can save it for later.
I'll save it for later because I rolled kind of okay. Oh yeah, I rolled 20. So
20?
+6 athletics. So, good tossing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you grab the like edge of Baz's sleeping pants. What does Baz wear to sleep? Boxers?
Wait, you're in your boxers?
You guys have just, you've been
Woken
preparing
up.
for bed. You just woke him up, right?
You're not even wearing
So-
a poncho.
That'll adjust your armor class, by the way.
Oh shoot, I only have a 15 AC then.
You grab Baz by the bottom, the kind of curling into the waistband of his boxers, and you grab a shoulder, and you begin to spin in a circle, and then just whoop, releases. Baz goes flying through the air, screeching at the top of his lungs. A very manly screech, but screeching all the same.
There goes our stealth.
Kizza, Shin, you guys hear a slight and then all of a sudden there's a large dwarf currently hurtling towards you two. I need you guys to make dexterity saving throws.
God damn it. I got a 20.
Okay.
14.
I need an acrobatics check from you.
Do a backflip. Oh, that's actually pretty good. What the fuck? 17.
17? Okay. You guys both managed to dodge out of the way as Baz, you're kind of like flailing through the arms, and you just managed to catch whoop onto the pike of what looks to be a centaur. He's kind of got this spear raised as if to hurl it towards the ground. You managed to end the edge of this and just kind of, it's a large shock and it kind of hurts your arm for a minute, and then you're left hanging there about 15 feet off the ground from the spear of a centaur statue.
And I'm gonna go over the wall.
Okay, I need an athletics check from you for that, please.
22.
22? Yeah. So you managed to haul yourself up. It's a lot easier than it would have been in heavy plate armor. And you make it over the top, and I need an acrobatics check from you.
Oh, shit. Oh, no, that's the bad one.
Whoops.
Okay, 16.
Okay, so you managed to land lightly on your feet. To see Kiza and Shin currently staring up at this dwarf hanging from the sky.
How you doing up there?
Please help me. I just wanted to sleep.
The even better thing is Shin is currently under 28 stealth, so you just heard that, like, come from absolutely
Oh, no, your
nowhere.
guys' stealth is...
It's broken.
It's broken, yeah. But between going over the wall and stuff and the screaming dwarf.
I'm gonna go walk underneath the pike thing and, like, hands up, ready to catch Baz.
Okay. So you kind
Isn't
of,
that
you
gonna
position
hurt?
yourself ready to catch Baz if he falls. In the meantime, Charlotte, you have entered into what is a small entry hall of sorts.
Okay.
There are a couple of benches along the walls and a set of double doors that are currently flung open into what looks like a larger hallway with 2 staircases going off to the side and a set of double doors as well as 2 hallways off to the immediate sides of you. This entry hall is currently ablaze, and you kind of hurry through into the main hall, kind of trying to clear the air of smoke. You currently stand in the hall now.
How tall is this?
The ceiling is actually quite tall. It's about 30 feet up.
No, how tall is the building?
The building,
Mm-hmm.
from what you had seen, the first floor looked to be about 30 feet all the way around. The back of the building reaches up about 70 feet, though.
How many levels?
It's 2,
Oh.
as far as you can tell.
Oh, okay. The windows in the front, were they...
There's no windows in the front. There's windows on the...
No, like, when I was outside,
Yeah?
there were windows, like, at the top?
Yeah,
Second
there
building?
are. Okay, so the main area is a large kind of square, and then at the very back of it, it's slightly raised because it's on a kind of a hill almost.
Okay.
So the back part is slightly taller, and then there is what looks to be a secondary floor reaching
Okay.
up from that,
So-
with a bell tower at the very top.
So the people throwing in the lanterns, you probably assume that they're trying to burn it down.
Yeah, they look to be burning it down.
So there are probably people in there? Like, or were they just burning it down because?
You're not sure.
No?
No.
I'm just gonna... Okay, what's this floor look like?
Okay, so you're currently standing in the middle of what looks to be a small square area.
Okay.
To your right and left are 2 hallways that go farther down. Are you sticking sex to the top of the camera right now?
No?
There are 2 hallways directly right and
I'll
left
just do
of
it
you
this
that
way.
seem to stretch down farther.
Okay.
And then immediately in front of you is a smaller alcove with 2 staircases that reach up from either side, and a set of double doors.
Okay.
When I was describing, there seems to be a second floor on both sides, but the back one is taller
Okay.
because
So,
it's got the bell tower.
the second floor windows, when I was outside,
Yes.
was there anything in the windows?
Not that you could see between the fire and the smoke, and it's quite late at night. It would be difficult.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna go up.
Up the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one to your right and there's one to your left.
Do they both go to the same place?
You can't tell.
They go up.
Oh, they just go up?
They go up.
I will go to the right.
Okay, yeah. So you turn to the right and head up the staircase, and you come out along a small corridor. The secondary staircase does go around to the other side. You can see now kind of a cross's banister, but there is what looks to be a small room in between you. You kind of you reach the top of the staircase where there's a small landing, and you can see across from you is the other landing for the staircase if you look back, but there is a small room between. Does that make sense?
Is it just the one room?
It's, yeah. No, there's, okay, here, let me,
Okay.
okay, grab a paper here. If I can reach the paper. Oh, that's the wrong.
Wrong paper?
Wrong
No.
paper. On paper.
That's okay.
That's a different paper. We don't want that paper. It's kind of laid out like this. Easiest I can show you.
Jordan. Or Jason.
He's not your brother. Hi, Jordan.
You're
If
behaving
watching
like
this-
him.
If you're watching this, Jordan, no Dylan loves you.
They're both a pain in the ass, so.
Oh, well. Okay, there's that.
Okay.
I love Jason
how
more, though.
obvious this is. You're standing kind of this area
Okay.
here. If you look
You
back
can't
over, there's
judge.
the other side of the staircase on a secondary balcony.
Okay.
And in between you guys, there looks to be a small room, as well as a large door that leads farther in, but you're not sure where it goes.
Okay, what doors are locked?
You'd have to test them. You can't tell from sight.
I'm gonna go further then.
Further in. Are you going into the room between you guys? Between the two staircases, or the one directly in front of you?
Well, which one's closer?
The one next to you, I guess.
Okay.
They're both quite close.
Can I see if the doors are unlocked?
Okay, yeah. You reach out. The door opens quietly. Inside, you can see what looks to be a small sitting room of some sorts. There's a low bit of fire that seems to prickle along the far wall.
Is there anybody in there?
No.
I'll close the door. Go to the next room, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
You grab the handle, and I need a Constitution saving throw.
Oh no.
Always
Oh.
check door handles, children. Dangerous.
13.
13. Okay. So you'll take half damage.
Fine. Had a good run.
When did I get blue on my hands?
I don't know. Oh, maybe it's from
You
the
take
map.
3 points of fire damage as you lance your hand back as it just burns. You can see now that the doorknob is slightly red.
Okay, I'll use the cloth, I guess, and try and open it.
Okay.
I don't know.
You tug it away slightly, and it takes a minute before you finally manage to get it open. A large swath of smoke billows out into the main room. You can see past it what looks to have been a small library room of some sort. A couple of shelves and bookcases and tables scattered around. It is currently ablaze. Very, very heavily on fire.
Is there anybody in there?
No.
Okay, I close. Wait, are there any doors within that?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, cool. I close that door, I guess.
Okay.
Go to the other door. Around the other way.
Around the other staircase?
Yeah.
So you're heading down around?
Well, no. Like, I was on the one side of the staircase. I'm going to the other side of the staircase and then going into that room over there.
Oh, no, okay. Let me
Oh,
show you this again.
Okay.
So you're standing here. This is kind of like a balcony. Okay?
Okay.
This is the first room, the sitting room that you went into.
Okay.
This is the second room, the library room that you went into. But that's the only proper.
What about that room back there?
This room back here?
Yes.
That would be through the sitting room.
Crud. Well, I'm going over there.
Okay. So you pull the door back to open in the sitting room. You can see the door on the left-hand side, and you make your way through, kind of climbing over a couple of timbers that have fallen and such. This room is on fire, but not like too badly that you can't get through it.
Cool.
As long as you're careful.
Okay.
You reach the secondary door, and you just open.
Are you gonna check the door
no, I'll test it.
Okay, make me a perception check.
That one.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a door. You can't tell. You're not sure why the other door burned you. So, this door looks like any other door. You're assuming it'll be safe.
It'll be safe?
You're assuming it's safe.
Okay, well, I guess I open the door.
Okay, yeah, no,
Okay.
it opens.
That's cool.
It was a fine door.
Okay.
You're lucky.
Yeah, I am.
Well,
Okay.
I'm nice.
Alright.
No.
What's in here?
You open the door, and you can see in front of you what looks to be an office, almost. There are 2 opposing desks either side of the room, a couple of shelves along the back walls, what look to be a couple of papers are scattered across each desk. And you can see that the back wall has kind of fallen, sunken into itself. There's a large fire that burns across the back. There's no one in here, if that's what you're asking. Next.
Nobody? There's another door that leads into the other room, if I'm right.
No. There are no other doors, other than the one you're currently standing
Nope, not on the other
There are
side.
2 windows on the opposite side, but they are currently flames engulfing them.
Can I roll a perception check on the building again?
Yep.
Okay.
Insight check, if
Okay.
you're checking the stability of the building.
10?
Yeah, no, it seems this front room has started to collapse, and you're a little bit worried that the rest of it will collapse, but you can tell from the inside. It's a lot easier from the outside to check,
Okay.
but...
Can I see the thing again?
Yeah.
Just the... So, I mean,
This
I've gone
middle
from
room.
here, and I went in here,
Yeah. You're gonna go the other way?
Yes.
There's a fire currently blocking that.
Oh well!
Going through it?
I guess so!
Okay.
I'm casting
Jeez.
message while I'm trying
we'll
to
do that in a second.
see if anybody's in there, though. But I'll let you guys go, I guess.
Well, it's only been an hour, so...
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're just gonna go through that door? We will do that in a second then.
Yeah.
You guys are back in the statue garden, currently kind of like trying to adjust so that the dwarf can fall and stuff. And Baz is like, "You good? You good? Can I let go yet?"
I let go.
Okay. Can I get a strength saving throw from Tabik to catch the dwarf falling from the sky?
15.
15? Yeah. So you managed to catch him for a minute. You buckle because he's quite a heavy... He was lighter than you thought when you tossed him, but he is 130 pounds of dwarf, right? And that's not...
Great to have
That's
landing
not
on
a
you.
great thing to catch.
No.
No. But you do manage to kind of catch him so he doesn't take any fall damage. And you sit down. You guys are now standing in the courtyard together.
I go through I try to push the doors, the double doors.
Double doors? Okay.
Yeah.
You make your way across the courtyard. As you go, you notice a lot of these statues are, like, very highly detailed, like, creepily so. They don't... Either the person that carved them was incredibly good at what they do, or these weren't always statues. Like, that level of highly, highly detailed. And you also notice that in quite a lot of them, there's a look of what you could best describe as fear.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna try to open the door anyway, because I don't care.
Okay, yeah. You manage to pull 2 double doors open, and you enter into a large library. There are bookshelves that line each of the walls, a couple of rows and shelves and such. There are 2 kind of half-circle desks right in the center, as well as you can see 2 double doors either side of the room. There is also another set of double doors right across from you.
Do we know what this building is? Like, do we know if it's a church or...
You could try and guess, but so far all you've seen is the front and the main
Was there
courtyard.
any, like, symbol on the door or anything?
Not that you can see. No.
Um,
If you want to try and see if you remember seeing some symbol on the front of the building, you can try that.
Okay, what would that be?
Make a history check.
Sexy.
Jeez.
18.
18? Okay. You do remember not seeing a symbol or stuff, but you do remember seeing across the top of the word, kind of difficult to see in the light that's being given off, but the top of the door had read librarium. Yeah. So, it's some sort of library?
Because it's taking the main doors, can I try the side door?
The side door? Yeah. So you notice the same thing about the statues. Just,
Yeah, really creepy.
it's not like something you worry about, but like it is
Mm-hmm.
something to give pause to. You manage to push the door open after a minute, and you enter into what is a long corridor that stretches down. You can see In the center of the corridor, it dips right into what looks like a set of double doors that has been thrown open, and leftwards around a bend that you can't quite see.
I'm going to go up to the double doors and just kind of...
The far double doors?
'Cause you said...
Sorry. There's
sorry,
also, to your right-hand side, there's another corner that bends around, and there are 2 doors onto either side of the wall, that way. Map.
Why is this place so confusing? Can I just do a general perception check to keep an eye out on stuff and, like, kind of get a sense of the statues?
Yeah,
Like, looking for anything that looks like an Afridi kind of thing?
Can I make an
Yep.
investigation check on the, like, statues?
Yep, you can make an investigation.
24 perception.
Nat 20, and then 25.
Okay, give me a second then. Sorry, I'm just trying to...
I was just wondering if we were all in the burning building. But we're not yet, so we're good.
There's 3 of us in a burning building.
Ow. Just kicked my foot on my chair.
Jeez.
Okay.
So you guys have entered in from this courtyard kind of area.
Yeah.
You're standing here right now. There's 2 double doors that have been thrown open.
Mhm.
You can see what looks to be kind of fire flickering behind. There's a blind corner there, farther there, and one at the very end of the corridor. To your right, there's another blind corner and 2 doors.
I'm going to go, I think down to these 2 doors down here.
Okay. You begin to make your way there. As the closer you get to the corner, you start to see that it is a staircase that rises up to the side.
Okay. Can I look in the rooms that are through the doors, or try the doors?
You can try them, yep. Right one or left one first.
Which way would I be
From
facing?
you're facing that way.
This
so it'd be
way.
right way or left way.
I'll try the left door.
Left door? Okay. You try the left door. It creaks open. The room is majorly on fire. There's a heavy, thick fog and smoke up at the very top of the room. You can see what look to be a bunch of pedestals with vases and an assortment of forks and spoons and old kind of more artifact kind of things. Not magical by any means, but more of
Just
historical.
collectibles? Yeah. No people or anything?
No, there's no one in.
Okay. I'll close that door and try the door on the other side.
Okay. Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, jeez.
Check your doors!
12.
12?
We should have learned this from Home Alone. Come on, guys.
Where do you think I got it from?
Yeah, okay.
So that is going to be 3 points of fire damage.
Okay.
As the door handle burns you.
Wow, same damage.
We are going to leap back to the others quick. You guys are making
I'm making an investigation on the statues.
investigation. Are you looking for anything specific or no? Just
No.
kind of looking.
Yeah, because then after that I'll just make a stone.
Okay.
Kind of. I got 25.
You got 25
I nat
and a
20,
nat
then
20,
plus
right?
5.
Yeah. And Tabik, you made the same roll.
No, general perception, figure out what's going on, where most of the fire is coming from. that
Okay,
kind of
so we will get to you in 2 seconds. Baz, you take a look around at these statues. They're intricately carved. Like, you've never seen stonework like this, even growing up in the mountains. This is unbelievable. Like, there is no way these things were carved. They are, you just looking around, you see, like, some of them have veins, and you can see eyebrows and such. Like, every bit of these things have been carved out. They have been stoned perfectly. You can see as well on each of these is this absolute look of abject terror, just horror. There are a collection of about 15 statues in total, ranging from centaurs and knights. There is a large, what looks to be not quite a dragon, but a large lizard of some sort. Just a range of these different things, and they're all...
Do I recognize any of them?
It's the
With a
riding wizard
nat
Debbie.
20, I won't make you roll a nature check. You do recognize one of them. This large kind of hulking beast. It's kind of like cowered back on all four. Not quite on all fours, but like it's got one hand touching down one of its arms. This large kind of hairy beast. It does look like the Quaggoth that you guys had faced quite a while back. But it does look very similar to this, and it's kind of its face is pulled back into this large snarl of terror, just abject terror.
And then Stone kind of, I want to make a history check on these things.
Okay.
I want to lick the stone. I want to touch the stone. I want to make sure it's stone.
Roll me a history check on them.
Fun.
Add double bonus to roll.
Proficiency. So you add double your proficiency.
6, okay.
You're proficient in history already, right? So you add triple your proficiency.
What's 9 plus 6?
9 plus 6.
15.
Did you roll a 9 or did you roll a 6?
I rolled a 9. What's
You
9
rolled a
plus
9,
6?
so it's 9 plus 9 because you've got proficiency in history already.
So it's
18.
18.
So that's 18.
Oh.
Yeah. So you take a moment just to
Wait.
kind of.
Wait, I fucked up. Okay, I have an 8 in history. I rolled what did I roll?
You
rolled
rolled
a
a
9.
Thanks.
17.
You have an 8 in history,
And then
and
double
you
the
add a
proficiency.
6 to that as well.
So I got a lot.
Oh, double.
That's like
Well,
20.
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay,
16,
You kind
9.
of like you take a moment to like run your hands over some of the
25.
stonework, and
I touched stone boobies. Sorry.
you reach out, just fondle, just a double check, just kind of firm, not quite stone. No.
He's like, wait a minute, this Quaggoth. Oh no. It's coming to life.
Why am I touching the Krakov's tits?
So, why are you?
No, you.
Now that's just an image we're never going to be able to get out of our minds. Just little dwarf.
Baz just hands up to.
Wait, how did he reach them?
Yeah.
Never
You-
question a dwarf.
Baz is determined.
Beth is
No,
determined
you
for
take a
those
moment
boots.
to kind of run your hands
been a
along
while.
the stonework of some of these the engraved armor and everything. You can feel individual studs and dents and such where there would have been an actual battle and stuff. You can also tell this isn't a stone that you know. This isn't a stone you recognize, and it's not quite proper, right? Like you kind of like tap on it and stuff. Generally, you'd get some feel of like dimension and everything. This stone gives off no sound whatsoever at the tapping.
Okay.
You aren't actually quite sure this is proper stone.
Okay.
And then I go into the building.
Okay. Tabik, you rolled to see where the fire and stuff is coming from, correct?
Yeah, general perception and stuff.
Okay. So a majority of the fire is currently centered on the front half of the building. You can see a couple flicks of flame are beginning to kind of coalesce along this kind of middle section between the two larger towering areas. But it doesn't seem that the fire has quite reached the back end yet.
Okay, I'm gonna try to head to where most of the fire is coming from, to like where the source would be.
Okay, so you'd follow after Shin then, off to the right.
Yeah.
Baz, you're heading straight in after Kiza.
I thought Shin went in second. Anyway, whoever just
I went in the
Just
side
went
door.
in, so you're
Yeah.
going in the right as well?
Are
Okay, so
you
you
going
and
in the side
Tabik
door?
follow after where Shin has gone.
Okay.
Kiza, you are currently in the lower library.
Yeah, I want to go through the left doors.
The left?
Yeah.
Okay, so you, there's a small set of stairs that kind of lead up to this door, and you manage to push your way in, and either side of you, you see two large wings. This seems to be another secondary library, but it is much larger than the first one. There are two sets of spiral staircase that kind of reach up right in front of you onto a small balcony with a door. There is also a door directly between these two that is kind of ornately done out.
Okay, I
It-
want to go up to the door that's done pretty.
I should also note this room doesn't seem to have any sense of the fire yet. There's a bit of smoke that's beginning to billow in from the lower library after you open the doors, but for for the most part, this place seems untouched by the fire so far.
Oh, okay. Then I can just try to open the door.
Okay. So you head through, you push your way in. It takes another second before the doors budge, just because they're so heavy. And you enter into a smaller alcove of a room. There's a large circular table. Not quite circular, it's more octagonal. It has a large, beautifully painted map of what looks to be the city. You can also see a couple of different maps that are held up along the walls. They detail various areas. There's a large world map across the hall across from you. It seems to be some sort of map room.
Math or map?
Map.
Math room. Oh god.
No.
What would I roll to
My
see if
worst
there's
fear.
anything of interest in the room?
Anything of interest? You can roll a investigation check if you want.
Okay.
If you're
I'm
looking
just
for something
curious if
interesting.
there's anything that I should be grabbing.
Okay.
I got a 12.
12. I mean, the maps themselves are quite interesting. I don't think you guys have a proper map.
No, I don't
No?
think so.
So you guys don't have an actual proper physical map itself. A lot of these look a little bit too large to just carry around, though. They seem to be more decorative. You can see a small barrel that's got a couple of rolled up scrolls and such in it. And you take a moment to kind of peruse those, and you pull out a smaller version of the larger table map. And there's one of the back wall as well. They're not quite as high quality, but they are workable maps.
Okay, I take those because, we get lost easily.
Okay. Yeah, you grab one. You can add a map of Ocean Hall and a map of Thalys to your bag.
What's the other one?
A map of Thalys. Thallus.
Okay, great. Okay. I'm gonna go back out into the main library and go to the other doors.
The other doors? Okay.
Yeah.
The ones on the second floor? Or are you going down into the room that you had entered immediately after the courtyard?
Immediately after the courtyard.
Okay. So there's the doors that were across from you. They're now on your left-hand side. And then there are the doors that lead into the front of the building.
The doors across from me, sure.
To the front of the building?
Yeah.
Okay. So you begin to make your way around there. Back up to Charlotte.
Yes.
Charlotte, you pull the door open, or wait, no, you're going through the fire. I need an acrobatics check and a Constitution saving throw, please.
Okay. Can I just say I'm gonna be trying to cover my mouth?
Mouth and stuff.
Yeah. So
Keep the smoke out.
Jeez.
what was the first one?
An acrobatics check.
5?
Okay.
Okay.
Constitution saving throw at disadvantage.
Cool.
Disadvantage.
That's a 20. That's well, the lowest is a 20.
So
Thank you.
Yeah.
sis.
you make your way around. You kind of wrap it around your wrap part of your
Toga?
toga. Yeah, I was gonna say your cape. But you don't have your cloak on you.
No, I don't.
You wrap part of you kind of pull it up slightly, one of the shoulders up slightly to cover you. And for a minute, you're kind of fumbling with it, and you almost trip. You manage to trip slightly over a log in the fire, but you do manage to kind of just fling a hand out. You take 3 points of fire damage as you just kind of, the right side of your arm is just kind of bashed against one of these burning logs, but you do manage to kind of find your way through, thankfully, without too much problem.
Oh well, just like home.
The door is already flung open. It's being kind of propped open by one of these other beams. So you manage to slip through and out into the other side of the balcony.
Okay.
There's a door to your left, and there's a staircase on your right.
Hello? Is anybody in there?
You calling into the door?
Either of the doors, yeah.
Okay. There's just the one, because there's the staircase behind
Oh,
you.
okay.
Just kind of yelling?
Yeah.
Okay. This would be... what's your passive perception?
16.
16? Okay. You hear a slight muffled yelling from upstairs.
Oh no! We're running them into danger!
Does there look to be any fire upstairs?
Well, a majority of the building, even from what you'd seen out front, the front half of the building seems to be on fire quite heavily. But you couldn't be sure how bad it is upstairs.
I guess I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay, so there's the staircase to your right.
Where did it sound like it came from? Just that?
It echoed kind of from behind you, but you can tell it's upstairs somewhere.
I'm following Shin now to
I'll
right.
take the one closest
you
to me.
two have ducked in there. Okay, so you're heading up that side. You come out into a smaller landing.
Mm-hmm.
There is a set of 2 kind of glass doors that open up onto what look to be a small balcony that you guys hadn't noticed before, that kind of not completely goes around the courtyard, but it does cover this side of the courtyard here.
Okay.
To your right is a large wooden door. It is currently kind of not quite open, but it's got a slight gap that you can kind of see into the room. It seems to be low lit kind of flames, not too much. There's pretty heavy smoke.
Okay. Oh, and I can't see anything.
No. Can you?
I'll go
I
first.
can't see fire.
Oh.
I can't see in fire. I can't
You
see
can't
flame.
see fire or you can't see in fire?
I
He can't see flame. He's
can't-
like a bird who can't see glass, but he can't see fire.
I can't look at fire. It'll actually, if I'm not careful, it actually it's like
blind him.
It's like if you look directly into the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are
Okay.
very painful then. In that case, I did not realize that. It's quite painful.
Can I try to cover my eyes?
Yeah, you can try. You just gonna use
Just
a piece of cloth.
just.
I can't see you. You can't see me.
Tabik just kind of watches his Shin just picks up his shirt and goes, "Oh no!"
Oh god, it's so bright. Reveals rippling abs. Oh god, so bright.
What else am I gonna use? I'm not wearing any armor or anything.
Okay, yeah. So you flick that up. Tabik, you see that? He's just standing there with the cloth kind of in front of his eyes now, kind of mumbling to himself. You can kind of it's like smushed against his face. You can see him speaking through the thing, but you can't actually hear him.
Tabik's gayness has gone up by 40%. Tabik's not gay. Well, that's
Can I kind of just yell for fuck's sake and try to go back down the stairs?
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
Hey,
you just
I'm
kind of-
going to be nice and help Shin take off my cloak, because I grabbed my cloak. Take off the holy symbol on my cloak, because I need that. Give the cloak to Shin so he can cover his eyes.
Okay, yeah. You feel a heavy, blanket almost draped across you, and all of a sudden Shin's standing there looking like a really bad Pac-Man.
And he said something about light before, so I'm gonna just, help him get out of there.
Okay, yeah, no. So you managed to corral him back down the stairs.
I'm guessing it's gonna take me a few seconds to kind of.
Yeah,
Stop
it'll take
dying.
you a little bit before you can do something. We are going to Baz. You were following around, so you're just kind of standing behind them. They've just done this. You're standing at the top of the stairs alone now.
The library. Where is that again?
There is the one that Kiza went into.
Yeah.
You wanted to head there? Okay, so you make your way back down. They kind of went up the stairs, so you're just gonna turn around.
I want to investigate the books.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
we're in a
you-
burning
We're in a
building.
burning
You
building.
turn around, you walk back to
Baz,
the
I'm
statue.
I'm
garden.
also okay, I'm half nude in my fucking boxers. Baz doesn't want to be here. Baz is like, then why doesn't he leave the burning building? He tried
We
and he
kind
got
of tossed
thrown.
him over a wall that he can't get back over.
He's like,
Bass is being dragged along. on an adventure he's not willing.
Are we all just gonna die in this burning building because we've been in here
Oh,
so long
I'm immune
it'll
to
collapse?
fire, so.
Yeah, I have no idea how long we have until we all die, so...
Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay, so
Tabik's fine.
you enter into the thing. You can see Kiza has walked back through the doors, a large set of doors, and she begins to make her way across the hall, across the library, towards the doors opposite.
That would be an 11.
An 11? So you're just... Are you looking for anything particular,
I just
or...
want to know if like there's a common theme. Like,
Okay.
Like if it's like Jesus, or if it's like how to make an egg, beside like your mom gay book. Like I don't know.
What?
Okay. You peruse... It seems to be a lot more, historical texts and archive journals, stuff
Any,
like that.
like taboo history in here?
You can't... Not any you could find.
Okay.
It seems to be a lot more just kind of... there's a large section about war and military tactics in the past. There's another section about the economics and trades and such. It seems to be mainly... This area seems to be mainly about history and the running of the country and such. It is all focused on Somerset, though.
Okay.
There's a small area in the military of things that describes the war between the elves and the humans, but that's pretty much the only mention that you can find of anything other than humans.
Well, then I just walk out.
Which way?
Just gonna stand at the bottom of like the stairs. Be like, you guys done yet?
Okay, so you walk down there.
Yeah.
They're coming down. They're sitting at the bottom of the stairs now, just kind of waiting for Shin to gain eyesight again.
Are you done? Shin, are you good? How many fingers am I holding up? Shin, how many fingers am I holding up?
One!
Your eyesight is good. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna head back upstairs while these guys do that.
Okay, so you head back up the stairs. Kiza, you have made your way across the library. You saw Baz enter in. You'd opened up the doors to either side of you are two staircases that lead up to a small balcony. You can see some sort of motion at the top of the right-hand balcony. Across from you are a large set of double doors that currently stand open towards you. You can see kind of a blazing fire behind them. There are also two hallways further on.
I yell, is anyone there?
Okay. Charlotte, you received no response from the hello that you'd shouted towards the door. But after waiting a couple of moments, you hear a large voice from downstairs scream, "Anyone there?"
Does it sound familiar?
Yeah, it's Kiza. You recognize Kiza.
What the fuck? Get out!
Yeah,
Look who's talking!
I'm assuming you wandered back slightly to, like, standing at the top of the balcony, so you and Kiza are just shouting down at each other.
And I can see that, I can hear this too.
Yeah. You three have, like, you heard Kiza shout out, just before Baz had turned the corner around. Baz, you kind of hear it in the back of your mind. And then you hear Charlotte's voice shout back, and now they're arguing in the back, way down the corridor behind you, just as Tabik's beginning to make his way up the stairs.
I told you I saw Charlotte.
Okay, and on that note, we will take a short break. Screaming match ensues. When we're back, we'll see how you guys act as amateur firefighters and Freddy savers, I guess.
Woo!
Freddy?
A Freddy.
I don't know.
I
A
heard
Freddy.
Freddy.
I heard a Freddy.
You
Yeah. No.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good?
We'll see you in, like, what, it's 1 o'clock? We'll see
Yeah.
you in, like, an hour?